Hello everyone and welcome back to another session of Bloodborne PvP and another weapon showcase. This time I am using the Bloodletter, yet another weapon that was added in the DLC for the game. Now this weapon right here, guys, was in a way a bit controversial for a while. A lot of people still don't like this weapon, and that's because you can actually very easily one-shot a lot of people with this thing. It can deal massive amounts of damage, and some people just don't find being killed all that fun. Wonder why. Anyway, we'll get into the details on that a little bit later on. For now, let's get started with the basics. So the Bloodletter requires 14 strength, 6 skill, and 16 blood tinge in order to wield. It has an A scaling in strength, no skill scaling, an S scaling in blood tinge, and a C scaling in arcane. The physical base damage is 180, and the blood base damage matches that at 180 as well. And for me, my attack rating is around 530. So that said, I don't have an optimized build for this weapon. I don't have the exact optimized runes for this weapon. And that's okay. It still does a fair bit of damage and is a reliable weapon despite not being fully 100% optimized. I'm not one-shotting anyone, I'm two-shotting people, but that's good enough for me. So, getting started on the first form, it's got slow alternating overhead smashes with vertical slashes, and the fourth is actually a thrust attack. It all does blunt damage, but that's the directions the attacks swing in. The R2 is a slow thrusting R2. It's not the greatest thing ever, but you get a decent bit of range on it, so you've got that going for you. Other than that, the charged R2, it's a tad bit slow, but it's a fairly strong angled smash, and there is no follow-up to that. And your transform attack, going from your first form to your second form, is a thrust, and it goes through your body. You stab yourself with the weapon. It deals damage to you, but if you hit your opponent with transform attack, it mitigates the damage, and then that, of course, helps out a lot. So that's what you really want to aim for when you are transforming, like right there, for the sake of example. That shows it mitigating damage and doing a good job of that. So, something to keep in mind when you're using the weapon. Now, in your second form, you've got some wide sweeping R1s. Your first two R1s are going to be pretty wide sweeps. Following that, though, you've got a series of strong overhead smashes with a lot of range. Like, a lot of range. It's really good. Your R2, uncharged, it's a long-range thrusting R2, and when fully charged, it's the same attack. It just takes a little longer to get out there, and it has an AoE around it, a little bit of a blood explosion sort of thing going on. And like I was saying earlier, the second form is all blood tinge based damage. So if you don't have high blood tinge or aren't using blood tinge gems, then you're going to have a slight issue with your damage output in this form. Yes, damage increase percentage gems are going to work, but of course, having blood tinge focused gems is the ideal way to do it. And when in the second form, you have access to your L2 attack, of course. And this L2 attack is the one that caused so much hate for the weapon. So the L2, it deals frenzy to you, and if you do have that meter go full, it will cause you to, be damaged, but it does less damage, significantly less damage than frenzy from an enemy would do. So that's something to keep in mind right there. But when you hit your opponent with it, it's got an AoE, and when you hit them, it deals a massive amount of damage. Like a ton, as in you can one-shot people, easily do over 1,000 damage, and overall, that's not something you want to be near. It's pretty telegraphed. A lot of people have caught on to the fact that they're, going for that one-shot KO attack, and people are getting really good at avoiding it, which is a good thing. So, it's going to be a bit less hated. Pretty much if you do get hit by it, you kind of deserve it, but it is what it is. So, other than that, really, there's nothing else to say as far as what's basic with the weapon. Pros and cons. Basically, for the pros, it's, of course, like I said, very, very damaging, and the one-shot from that L2 with proper gems and stats, that is a thing. Other than that, the first form can deal some pretty good damage if you've got a decent amount of strength. Second form has really good range and slightly wider hitboxes than you'd expect. But, that said, cons. Some of the hitboxes are a bit funky with this weapon, specifically in your first form. So, basically, your overhead slash from that charge to R2, it doesn't have a reliable hitbox. So I've fought people, they're directly in front of me, we're right lined up, completely in line with each other, and the attack just kind of misses. There's just nothing to do about it. So it does leave a bit to be desired in terms of that. Aside from that, it can be a bit easy to dodge due to the fact that it is a very telegraphed moveset in a lot of cases. And, you know, other than that, its second form is all blood tinge damage, so of course without a build that's focusing in that department, you're going to find it severely lacking. So, you know, my build, it was able to get away with it mostly because of the first form, and mostly because of how much damage that L2 does, despite not even being overly powerful. But at the end of the day, you know, you want a build focused in both strength and blood tinge, which is not a bad thing because usually it's all skill blood tinge. That's what people tend to focus on. So it does add a good bit of variety to your build, you know, options. I don't think I've ever seen a strength blood tinge build before this weapon was even added. So, you know, it adds something to the game, and I'm all for that. Otherwise, though, that's pretty much all I've got on this weapon as far as the pros and cons are concerned, you know. Pros are, you know, it's just got some good wide hitboxes, lots of damage in the second form, all that sort of stuff. But your first form, hitboxes are a bit funky, they're not exactly accurate, and the damage, while it can be good, it does not compare. Like, even though I don't have much in the way of blood tinge, I deal more damage in the second form on the majority of my attacks. And that's, you know, kind of silly. It just goes to show they have a very high damage multiplier because, you know, it is what it is. It's just, that's how they made it. I don't know. But otherwise, guys, I've got nothing else to say, so that's where I guess we're gonna leave this thing. A couple more fights left after this, so I'm just gonna catch you guys up to date with a few things. So Cost Parasite's the next showcase. Following that will be Rikuyo. Following that will be the Beast Claws. In that order is the way they're gonna come. Other than that, though, guys, you know, I'm just gonna be doing a little bit of stuff with the indie games that I've been playing on the channel. They're gonna be a bit more prevalent, and I'm going to be starting a Darkest Dungeon playthrough on the channel as well. So there's that. I probably will pick up the random PvP with live commentary sort of style video again. Might do some of that for Bloodborne, might not. I'll probably throw a poll down into the description of the following few videos and get your guys' opinion on if you want to see that or not. Otherwise, you know, I'm just trying to do what I'm doing. It's been a bit slow recently. I've been working a lot and I've actually been sick. I'm still getting over that, so I'm a little bit still, but it is what it is. I'm working on it. There'll be more content coming. But that's all I got for you guys right now. So this is the last fight right here. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time.